This was the most notorious high school in all of Korea, where students glorified violence and even academic rankings could be decided through fights. Yet despite this harsh environment, Gammon still dreamed of getting into a top university, believing from a young age that knowledge could change his fate without anyone asking. He joined multiple tutoring classes, and after working hard, managed to rank third from the bottom. But this didn't discourage him entering middle school. He even hired a private tutor, yet his grades stayed the same. Still third from the bottom, blaming himself for not working hard enough. He studied everywhere on the bus, even in the restroom, eventually moving up to second from the bottom. But after failing again and again, he began to lose motivation, until one day, he overheard classmates talking about attending technical high school and entering college through special admission. Instantly reigniting his determination, he eagerly enrolled, only to find it was nothing like he imagined thinking. If he just kept his head down and studied, everything would be fine. But his grades stayed second from the bottom. Assuming the tough students must secretly study hard at home, he tried a final solution, forming a study group after hearing from his mom's friend that her son improved by 10 places through 1. But every group rejected him for being too far behind, some even mocking he'd be better off being reborn than joining a study group. From that moment, he swore to create his own and searched for the smartest looking student among the slackers, spotting Seon just as he approached to invite him. A student ranked 173rd challenged Seon, who didn't want to fight, but a nearby boy warned that if he didn't fight properly, he'd be reported to the disciplinary department. The school's official gang, allowed to suppress troublemakers using violence, freely left with no choice. Seon fought back, but lost. That same day, a new teacher, Ms. Lee, arrived, and Gammon recognized her as his private tutor from middle school, who had always believed he could overcome his bad grades during roll call. The class showed extreme disrespect, with one boy even farting before the class. Bully leader Hyan Wo angrily threw coffee at the blackboard and punished him after class. Gamin spoke with Ms. Lee, recalling the past, and excitedly shared his plan to create a study group, saying he already had someone in mind to recruit to get Seon to join. He followed him relentlessly, talking to himself, until Seon finally gave in and agreed to tutor him, explaining things patiently again and again. But Gammon still didn't understand, and his detailed notes were useless. Realizing Gammon had no talent for studying, Seon refused to join his study group and told the naive Gammon that Pan would never allow it. Pan's father was a notorious gang leader, feared for his cruelty, and Pan himself was #1 in school. Not for grades, but for his unmatched combat power. He even created a ranking software that made students obsess over their positions. But Gammon didn't care. He showed Pan his second-place report card and tried to persuade him to study for college together. Seon angrily tore it up and warned him to stop bothering him later in the restroom. Seon thought Gammon was following him and cursed, only to realize it was Hyan Woo. He apologized, but Hyan Woo refused to let it go, demanding 200,000 won as compensation. Seon looked troubled, but was brutally beaten, until Gammon, wearing a mask and holding a fire extinguisher, burst in, creating chaos and rescuing him. But Seon didn't thank him, instead blaming him for interfering, saying that escaping would only lead to worse torture. Trying to leave, Seon ran into Hyan Woo again and was beaten once more. Yet he didn't reveal that Gammon had saved him at a critical moment. Gammon appeared, broke the stick, and knocked Hyan Woo unconscious. Gammon had always believed good health led to good grades, exercising daily since 3rd grade. His uncle, who owned a martial arts school, wanted him as a successor, but Gammon only wanted to study after being rescued. Seon returned home exhausted, where his alcoholic father told him to learn welding after graduation, claiming college was a waste of money and only skills earned respect. Heartbroken, Seon left home. He had once been a top student, but obeying his father's orders, gave up attending a top high school for a technical one. No one but Gammon understood his dream of college, so he placed his old mistake notebook on Gammon's desk as Gammon was about to thank him. A bench suddenly hit him. Hyan Woo had discovered he was the masked rescuer. He grabbed the notebook and set it on fire, desperate to save it. Gammon dodged Hyan Woo's attacks and still managed to knock him down, though the notebook was ruined. Furious, Gammon decided to fight. After several exchanges, Hyan Woo fell to the ground, defeated. In anger, he threw the burning backpack, but Gammon calmly kicked it back into his arms. The 220th ranked loser had just defeated a top 10 fighter, shocking the whole school. Yet all Gammon wanted was for Hyan Woo to apologize to Seon. Seeing Gammon's burned hand, Seon angrily threw the ruined notebook in the trash and agreed to join the study group. Just then, Ms. Lee rushed in and put out the burning backpack, but it was too late. The school inspector had witnessed the fight and arson. The vice principal immediately labeled Gammon a bully and decided to expel him. Ms. Lee bravely argued the school was at fault since Gammon had been bullied and assaulted, first stating that in this school, violence was sometimes necessary for self-defense. The inspector recognized her as last year's top scorer in the teacher certification exam, but noted she hadn't registered and lost her certification, asking how she planned to fix the school's problems. Panicking, Ms. Lee recalled Gammon's study group idea and proposed it. The inspector was intrigued, and the vice principal reluctantly agreed, adding a condition: the group must reach 5 members in 2 weeks to be recognized as an official club. To achieve this, Gammon and Seon posted recruitment notices, but no one signed up. Meanwhile, rumors spread that Gammon was a fire-breathing monster. A student ranked 3rd in combat power didn't believe it and ignored warnings to challenge him. Gammon, thinking the boy was joining the study group, welcomed him and turned to get the application form the boy attacked. But Gammon focused only on finding the form, dodging every punch effortlessly when the form got crushed. Gammon went to get a new one, and the challenger was knocked out by the locker door. Gammon, confused, had no idea what happened, while Seon was stunned, and students watching were now convinced Gammon was an unbeatable master, making the rumors spread even faster. Gammon unknowingly created another legend, becoming a terrifying figure to all students ranked lower, and no one dared to make eye contact with him. Yet he still hoped to find students who loved studying through eye contact, but no one seemed interested. While complaining to Seon, he noticed an unusual boy approaching. Seon explained it was his middle school friend Jeon Yap, who later studied in the US. Gammon rushed over and sincerely invited him to join the study group, but Jeon Yap mocked him, saying he didn't care about others getting hurt, just to form it with time running out. Seon suggested Gammon should play sports instead of studying. Though Gammon had athletic talent, he loved studying more. Ms. Lee encouraged them by buying study supplies and treating them to food, but when she got home, she found her door broken and Hyan-woo covered in wounds inside. Earlier, he had been punished by Panul for losing to Gammon and was ordered to make Ms. Lee lose her job or die. Suddenly, the lights went out and a man rushed in, knocking everyone down and helping her escape in the elevator. He removed his hat, revealing himself as Jeon Yap, whom she had met on campus before pulling her into the parking lot. She tried to call the police with his phone, but a thug snatched it. She attempted to stop the fight, but they even dared to attack a teacher. Jeon Yap fought several, but was eventually beaten down. Hyan-woo recognized him as the boy involved in a middle school murder case and ordered his men to beat him, then aimed to attack Ms. Lee. But Gammon suddenly appeared, taking off his glasses and fighting them alone, grabbing their sticks and chains, turning them into nunchucks, and knocking them all to the ground. Jeon Yap wanted to ask about the murder case connected to his mother's death, but Gammon stopped him, giving Hyan-woo a chance to escape. When Jeon Yap tried to chase the pain in his belly, stopped him before leaving. He warned Ms. Lee not to believe bad guys would be fairly punished, and told Gammon not to form a study group afterwards. Ms. Lee returned the book The Legend of Bruce Lee to Gammon, saying he had left it with her. She hesitated about calling the police when someone rang the doorbell. It was one of the thugs, kneeling and begging her to spare him, saying they acted under Panul's orders and would be killed if they refused. She pitied him and agreed to let him go if he answered her questions truthfully. The next day, a message arrived from someone wanting to join the study group. Gammon excitedly went to the classroom, but stepped back, seeing it was full of girls, and unsure who Ji-woo was. A curly-haired girl called out Ji-woo's name, and when Seon saw her, he urged Gamin to leave, saying she was Hyan-woo's twin sister. Suddenly, chaos erupted as girls bullied Ji-woo and her friend Hae-won, mocking their study schedule, stomping on it, and spitting gum on it. Gammon quickly caught the gum and praised the schedule. Just then, Woo-jin from the disciplinary department walked in, claiming Ji-woo was his girlfriend and threatening to punish her for talking to other boys. At that moment, Gamin threw the gum at his face. A fight was about to start, but the teacher appeared and stopped them. Yet messing with the disciplinary department meant endless trouble for the study group. Suddenly, Hae-won appeared and admitted she had submitted the application in Ji-woo's name, hoping they could protect her from bullying. She was a transfer student who had accidentally offended the curly-haired girl and became her target. Ji-woo stood up for her, which made the girl resent her even more. Meanwhile, Ji-woo's brother Hyun-woo had lost something important. While working part-time, Goo-jin agreed to lend him money, but ordered him to steal it from a convenience store, recording the whole thing. Since then, he had used the video to threaten Ji-woo and force himself to be her boyfriend. Hae-won was about to transfer schools, so she begged them to help delete the video. Seon was concerned because it was kept in the disciplinary office, but Gamin wasn't afraid. Hiding in the office locker, he overheard that Goo-jin had actually robbed Hyun-woo that night, then lent the stolen money back to him, while recording it to control him with Pi-han as the mastermind. Meanwhile, Ms. Lee called Goo-jin to the office and quickly figured out what he had done. He didn't deny it, and even claimed she was the most interesting teacher he had ever met. On the other side, Gammon decided to act, spotting the USB plugged into a computer. He purposely let Goo-jin grab his legs while moving closer to the computer, then snatched the USB, knocking Gujin down cleanly, but ran into 3 others and was pinned, still clutching the USB tightly. Gujin decided to upload the video online to destroy Hyeon-woo's life. Outside Seon and Haewon planned how to rescue him. Ji-woo overheard and decided to join. Suddenly, Gamin kicked the door open and ran out with the computer, but was tripped, sending it sliding to Seon's feet. Gamin blocked the pursuers while Seon ran to the rooftop. Gujin chased him and demanded the computer, but seeing no one below, Seon threw it down. Gujin was about to attack when Ji-woo appeared and easily defeated him afterward. A teacher took Gamin away and the USB fell to the ground. Haewon tried to pick it up, but the curly-haired girl snatched it, saying she'd return it to Gujin. For the first time, the quiet Haewon cursed and charged. Taking it back, Ji-woo praised her courage and helped her up. At that moment, Hyun-woo appeared, Pan having told him the truth earlier and given him a knife, urging him to kill Gujin. In a tense moment, Ms. Lee blocked the knife with her own body. She knew from her research that Hyun-woo lived with Ji-woo, and to support her studies, he worked while attending school. She comforted him, saying she would help. Gamin quickly carried her to the hospital, where thankfully the injury wasn't serious. Ji-woo apologized on behalf of her brother, and Ms. Lee used the chance to invite her to the study group. Haewon decided not to transfer and joined as well, and feeling the warmth, Ji-woo agreed to become a member. Meanwhile, Hyun-woo was sent to a juvenile center. Han was arrested by police but released the next day. Someone downstairs shouted for a one-on-one with Gamin. The news that the disciplinary department had been defeated spread fast, and rumors swirled that Gamin wanted to rule the school. The first challenger was Kang, the top fighter of the 11th grade. Gamin ignored him until he saw Lee Jun's study group application torn up. Then he jumped down and floored Kang with a single punch. Lee Jun had loved fighting since childhood, but always lost, thinking his body was too weak. He trained his lung capacity, even wore short sleeves in winter, but still got beaten. Believing he wasn't trying hard enough, he worked out constantly in class and on the bus, yet results never changed. One day he overheard that to get stronger he should go to a technical high school. Hopeful, he enrolled there, learning many fighting skills and climbing from 173rd to 17th place. But then his rank wouldn't rise after watching Gamin's duel with Hyun-woo. He wanted to join the study group. Gamin refused because Lee Jun only wanted to raise his fight ranking. Lee Jun then vowed to focus on studying, so Gamin gave him a test to complete before they returned. While he worked seriously, a tattooed man burst in, flipping through the book and mistaking Lee Jun for Gamin, ordering him to follow for another test at a remote warehouse. The man claimed to be a YB family scout, recruiting backup fighters. Only the top 3 from each school could try the challenge defeat. 3 men grabbed the car key on the hood and win both the spot and the car. Meanwhile, everyone thought Lee Jun had run away. But after seeing the test paper, Gamin sensed trouble. Only when Gwon Yop arrived did they learn Lee Jun had been taken by a gang. The scout soon realized he wasn't Gamin and decided to punish him. At that moment, Gamin and his crew appeared holding the test paper and declaring Lee Jun had passed. Seeing his battered state, they prepared to fight. Ji-woo struck first, with Gwon Yop following. Gamin rolled up the paper and used his knowledge to take down a knife-wielding thug before charging the scout, but was overpowered. Even with all 3 attacking, they were badly beaten. Gamin rose slowly and unleashed the dangerous one-sided attack technique his uncle had forbidden, smashing through the wall. Suddenly, a car engine roared. Lee Jun jumped up, pushing Gamin aside just in time. Gamin dodged and a hat-wearing man stepped out, inviting him to join the YB family. Gamin refused, saying he only wanted to study and go to college. The hat man mocked Gwon Yop, asking if he came to their school to pay condolences or by will. Enraged, Gwon Yop chased him on his motorcycle as police arrived, arresting the scout and his men before leaving. The detective gave Gamin a business card thanking them for helping catch the gangsters back at base. The hat man praised Gamin, calling him impressive. Pan Yuel gave a rare 4-star rating. After facing life and death together, the 5 finally formed a study group to motivate them, and Miss Lee decided to take them to visit another school's study group. The 4 dressed in their sharpest fashion and walked confidently through Seoul. With Miss Lee's recommendation, they headed to visit the top-ranked Manel High, but Gamin, confused, wandered into the notorious Manic High next door. While they waited, Lee Jun suggested a game to break the ice with Manel's top students, but one arrogant girl refused to talk, almost clashing with Ji-woo, until a boy explained she acted that way because they were constantly bullied by Manic High thugs. At that moment, a top student was being blackmailed, and even if parents called the police, retaliation was certain. Meanwhile, inside Manic High, Gamin was surrounded by bullies and casually punched away a flying fire extinguisher. A student inside heard the noise, thinking Gamin was being beaten, but when he opened the door, his friends were already on the ground. The boy who had been trying to get money from his mother saw Gamin break in, and just then Seon called, asking Gamin to save that very boy from Manic High. The boy quickly stood, reminding him to leave fast, but the school's strongest fighter appeared. Gammon calmly removed his glasses, went full force, and knocked him out before taking the boy back to Manel High, where they successfully exchanged study tips before leaving. The top students sincerely apologized, and the boy pulled Gammon aside, revealing they had been middle school classmates. He recalled mocking Gammon when he asked to join his study group, and now apologized, saying he believed Gammon could become #1 in the school, or even the country back at their own school. The study group finally got an activity room. Though it was in bad condition, Gamin stayed positive and led the cleanup until it was neat and tidy. Kim, the #1 student, came to provoke them, calling them brainless fools. Gamin restrained himself, deciding to beat him through grades. Miss Lee admired his resolve, but warned against arrogance, then analyzed their rankings, with only Kyan at second place, while the rest were in the lower middle range. She encouraged them that improvement was possible if they followed her plan after school. Lee Jun revealed he saw Miss Lee visit the dean seeking a disciplinary meeting to punish Panuel, but the dean doubted her and set a condition: if each member of the study group improved by 10 ranks, he'd approve her proposal, making the midterm a true battle. Seon then got a call from his father to come to the construction site. Upset, he left, but ran into Heewon, his crush, only to have Kim and a curly-haired girl block their way. Seon, used to being bullied, couldn't fight back as Kim took Haiwon away until Gammon arrived, knocking Kim down and kicking away their phones. Embarrassed that Haiwon saw his weakness, Seon left quietly at home. His father scolded him, and when he went outside, Gammon was waiting. Having overheard the argument, he invited Seon to his home. But Seon refused, wandering off only to be caught by Kim again, this time dodging every attack and even fighting back, thanks to Gammon secretly guiding him over the phone. When Gammon's phone died, Seon began to lose ground, but just as Gammon rushed in to help, he saw Seon stand on his own and punch Kim to the ground. Afterwards, Gammon took Seon home. It was past 11 p.m., and Seon's mother stood outside cold-faced waiting. Seeing the blood on his friend, she demanded Gammon transfer schools the next day. She could tolerate poor grades but not violence. Seon thought she was bluffing since transfers weren't easy, but Gammon knew she meant it. The next day, she went to the principal's office to arrange it. Seon still had hope, thinking no school would take Gammon with his grades, but his mother decided to move to Seoul to buy time. Seon tried to stop the car. Everyone pleaded. Even Haiwon lied, saying she had Gammon's baby, but his mom ignored her and drove off. Miss Lee arrived too late and gave chase with the kids in her car. Suddenly, motorcycles blocked the road, led by Kong, who had lost to Gammon. Before knowing if Gammon left, he'd stay top in combat rankings. Lee Jun and Jiwoo got out, fought the gang, and left them on the ground. Then Lee Jun stayed behind to block further attacks. Miss Lee knocked over a bike and sped on. Gammon's mom was talking to a real estate agent when they arrived. She and Miss Lee had known each other for years. A year earlier, Miss Lee's mentor, Mr. Wu, had died unexpectedly, and Gammon's mom told her to channel her grief into helping students like he did, inspiring Miss Lee to come to this school to protect kids from bullying and help them study. Gammon had even formed a study group and made friends. This made his mom feel guilty, realizing she had set low expectations for him, possibly hurting him just as she was about to agree to let him stay. Pan learned of Miss Lee's petition to impeach him and sent men after her. Gamin was ready to fight, but his bat was kicked away by his mom, who was the director of the Korean Taekwondo Association. She fought alongside the kids, defeating them. Miss Lee was about to call the police when the hat guy suddenly fired at her. Gammon lunged for the gun, but was too late. His mom was shot in the head and fell unconscious in the hospital. Gyeon Yap told Gammon the truth, warning him not to go after Pan, who had 3 bodyguards, Dechol, Sanol, and Minol, all unbeatable. Thinking of his injured mom, Gammon still went after him but was pinned by Sun. Chol Pan told them to leave Gammon alive. Gammon blocked 2 others from leaving, determined to beat all 3, but lost again. Lying on the ground, he heard his heart pounding and remembered his uncle's teaching to stay calm. He steadied his breathing, then used a forbidden move, unleashing his full strength and defeating all 3. Meanwhile, the vice principal scolded Miss Lee for submitting a petition to the Education Bureau, accusing her of making the school look like a gangster training ground, and ordered her to apologize to all students and teachers. Miss Lee calmly stood on stage and firmly declared the school was not in a normal state, and she would carry on her teacher's wish to turn it into an ordinary high school. The vice principal rushed up and knocked the microphone away. At that moment, Gammon kicked open the door and punched Pan. Pan fought back, but Gammon told him he was just an ordinary person too, and getting hit hurt, so he should stop acting cocky. Provoked, the hat guy told Pan to deal with Gammon immediately. Pan made a call and summoned his bodyguard Sun Chol, who was at the hospital caring for his grandfather. His grandfather wanted him to be a good person, so Sun Chol studied hard whenever he could. He met Gammon visiting his injured mom, and after hearing his reason for revenge, understood his feelings. Gammon asked why he obeyed Pan when he clearly wanted to study. Sun Chol mocked him, saying studying wouldn't guarantee a good job, but serving Pan could get him straight into the YB family. Just then, Dechol called, telling him to hide. Moments later, two fighter trainers arrived. Sun Chol instantly acted respectful and pushed Gammon aside, pretending not to know him. Before being escorted away the next day, the news reported a 40-year-old man had been stabbed to death with Sun Chol. As the suspect, a detective asked Gammon if he saw him at the hospital. Gammon admitted it, but didn't mention the gangsters who took him away after school. Gammon felt down. Sion noticed and knew he didn't believe Sun Chol was the killer. The study group held an emergency meeting, and Sion revealed that since Pan-enrolled crime rates among students had risen while adult crime had dropped because students got lighter sentences and parole, then joined the gang after release, becoming YB family members. Now they just needed proof Sun Chol didn't kill that night on his way home. Gammon met Day-I, who said Sun Chol wasn't the killer. The fighter trainer chased after Day-I, planning to punish him, but Gammon stepped in, knocked him out with one punch, and Day-I revealed he had seen a gang official cleaning a bloody knife, and it was an open secret that officials killed while backup fighters served time. Gammon told the study group Jiwoo worried he was being used, but Gammon believed Sun Chol wasn't a killer because his eyes showed a desire to study. The four decided to trust him and planned to find the murder weapon to save Sun Chol. Gammon and his friends borrowed uniforms and snuck into the YB family building, while Sion and Haiwan stayed outside using a drone to give information. But it was the gang's general meeting, and Pan would be there, so the three ran. Gamin got separated from the others and hid on the rooftop. The fighter trainer heard a noise and went upstairs to check after he left. Gammon found the door locked. Meanwhile, Lee Jun's identity was exposed, and he chose to fight alone. While Ji-woo searched for evidence, she found the murder weapon in an office drawer. But as she was leaving, she heard footsteps and hid in the desk. Though the trainer had already noticed her, Lee Jun was in a fierce fight, suffering multiple cuts, but still defeated his opponent. Ji-woo was attacked from both sides by trainers and knocked out. Gammon tried to find a way out when he got a call from Miss Lee. He quickly grabbed his mistake notebook, but accidentally dropped it on a gang official. Just then, he saw trainers carrying away the unconscious Ji-woo. He hung up and furiously kicked the door non-stop. Meanwhile, Haiwan lost control of the drone, and the hat guy appeared, destroying it, cutting off all contact with the three at the critical moment. Sun Chol blocked the car, and the trainer mocked him, saying he shouldn't be there. It turned out Sun Chol was taking the fall for the gang official. Pan promised to hire the best lawyer and pay for his grandfather's treatment, then handed Sun Chol a lawyer's card and threw his word book in the trash. So Sun Chol admitted the crime as ordered, but his statement was full of mistakes. The detective knew he wasn't the real killer and urged him not to throw his life away, thinking of his grandfather and kind. Gammon Sun Chol decided to stop obeying Pan. His friends arrived. Ji-woo also woke up, grabbed the knife and joined the fight, but the trainer was too strong. Even together, they couldn't win until Gammon appeared with nunchucks. The trainer tore open his shirt, revealing scars, and fought in close combat, knocking Gammon down while mocking everyone as his defeated opponent. The next moment, Gammon stood up unharmed, mocked his weak power, and fought back, using his uncle's forbidden technique number 40 in punch, sending the trainer flying afterward. He helped Sun Chol up and invited him to come back to school and study together. Sun Chol was unsure if he could be an ordinary student again, but Ji-woo quickly kicked the trainer's knife away, telling Sun Chol not to overthink it, just study. Then they heard shouting. Sion and Haiwan arrived fully armed to help, making everyone laugh. Suddenly, Gammon remembered his mistake notebook and sprang up to chase the gang official, but the detective stopped him, knowing the official was the real killer. The official pulled a hidden weapon, but Gammon knocked him out first. Justice was served, and the bad guys punished. The study group prepared nervously for the life-changing midterm after the exam. They excitedly checked answers with Sion, but Gammon felt upset, noticing his answers differed from the others. Gammon's mom, freshly discharged from the hospital, called Miss Lee, asking where he was. Miss Lee reassured her, saying he was out having fun with friends. His mom explained he always got down before grades came out, losing focus and control. His friends sensed something was wrong and took turns comforting him. Sion shared that water only turns to steam at boiling point. Before that, it looks unchanged. Learning was the same. If Gammon kept at it, big changes would come. Hearing this, Gammon felt enlightened and let go of his unhappiness. Suddenly, Dae-chol called, saying Sun Chol's grandfather was critical, but insisted on taking the exam. Sun Chol rushed to the hospital, but was blocked by gangsters. When he finally arrived, bruised, he saw Gammon helping his grandfather take the exam, a lifelong wish. Later, the study group attended the funeral. Gammon recalled his words, vowing to show Sun Chol the joy of learning, telling the grandfather that Sun Chol had found happiness in studying soon. Sun Chol opened the word book his grandfather left behind, thanking Gammon for fulfilling his last wish and saving him from despair. The midterm results came, and Sion ranked first. The others improved, and the biggest surprise was Gammon, moving from 219th to 209th. Miss Lee took the report card to the dean, who kept his promise and held a disciplinary meeting for Pan on duty. Sun Chol stopped Pan's car, telling him to walk in per school rules. Pan reluctantly got out, glaring at the study group, full of rage. Gonyop begged Miss Lee to cancel the meeting, fearing she was alone against Pan's power and could be hurt. It turned out that Miss Wu, who died a year ago, was Jian Yop's mother. She had pushed for the disciplinary meeting to clean up the school, but a man in black killed her that night. Everyone suspected Pan, but a backup fighter took the fall. Jian Yop feared Miss Lee might share the same fate, but she refused to bow to evil no matter what, promising to fulfill Miss Wu's wish. Meanwhile, Pan-ol promised his father he would handle this crisis just like last time. Soon a slanderous video accusing the study group of theft and violence went viral. Branding them the rogue group, the vice principal pushed for a disciplinary meeting to punish them and fire Miss Lee, unless she withdrew charges against Pan. Miss Lee told the kids their kindness wasn't wrong and she didn't blame them, but until the truth came out, they had to ignore all provocations. Especially Gammon, she vowed to fix everything. Suddenly, students in the hallway started attacking each other for no reason. Pan offered a 1,000,001 reward to anyone who raised their ranking within an hour. Even Sayan's old friend attacked him, leaving him sad and confused, wondering if change was possible. Then he got a call and rushed to the construction site. Gammon received a message and ran to the activity room where Pan and his men had smashed everything, destroying their hard work. Gammon clenched his fists, ready to fight, but Haiwan stopped him, urging patience. Meanwhile, Sion saw his father fighting with workers, defending that his son was not a rogue. For the first time, Sion heard his father's defense, feeling powerless and guilty. He promised to quit school and start working at the site the next day. Hyeon's parents took her home, forbidding her from seeing the study group. Unaware of this, Lee Jun kept texting for updates. Gammon was about to reply when he saw Sion leave the group chat. His mother noticed his upset and asked. He said the study group was about to disband. To comfort him, she revealed she allowed him to stay because she saw how happy he was with his friends. Remembering their good times motivated him. He cleaned the activity room, then went to the site to work with Sion. Sion told him to go back, but Gammon said he wanted to go to college with him. Moved by his determination, Sion knelt, begging his father to let him stay, promising that in 3 years he would get into the best university and give his father a better life. Gammon vowed one day Sion would own the building. Then they went to Hyeon's house, convincing her parents with Sion's top grades and a basket of blueberries. Next, they found Gu-wo at the convenience store and brought her back. Lee Jun was thrilled when Sion rejoined the group chat the next day. The study group returned to school for a final showdown with Pan-ol. Meanwhile, Miss Lee refused to drop charges against Pan and insisted the disciplinary meeting go as planned. The detective advised her not to go, fearing Pan's unpredictability, but she refused to back down. The day before the disciplinary meeting, the vice principal summoned Miss Lee to school, intending to reveal illegal deals between the gang and the school. The detective sensed danger and warned her not to go, but Miss Lee insisted on being bait to gather evidence. During their conversation, she secretly recorded the vice principal admitting the school was Pan-ol's kingdom, training gangsters and laundering money. He admired her bravery until suddenly the lights went out and he fled. Miss Lee stepped into the hallway, only to be surrounded by Pan-ol and 3 others. She warned them the police would arrive soon, having secretly installed a recorder in her button. The detective promised to rescue her if she didn't come out within 30 minutes, but he was attacked. Pan threatened her, claiming Ms. Wu's death wasn't just a rumor. Just then, the school PA system blared, and Haiwan cursed the evil guys again. Meanwhile, Jae Myung and his 4 friends, who had been secretly watching Miss Lee, worried for her safety and set up an ambush. Gammon ordered Lee Jun to escort Miss Lee to safety and protect her while he faced Pan-ol. Ji Woo and Sun Chol took on 2 others. Sion handled the hat guy, and Lee Jun confronted Atie, a childhood friend turned Pan-han's lackey. From the 1st to 4th floors, all 4 fought fierce battles, initially at a disadvantage. Ji Woo first fought back but couldn't beat the chubby guy alone, so she teamed up with Sun Chol to turn it into a 2-on-2 fight, eventually winning. Sion was shot at repeatedly by the hat guy until the bullets ran out. Having learned combat skills from Gammon's mom, he took hits but never gave up and eventually won with an uppercut. Lee Jun pulled a knife from his chest and swiftly took down Ati. The others had already won, leaving only Pan-ol and Gammon. Gammon was knocked down multiple times as Pan mocked him, saying he could change nothing and couldn't save Miss Lee. Hearing that she was in danger, Gammon struggled to his feet and unleashed his ultimate technique, defeating Pan. Meanwhile, Miss Lee, who had escaped, was blocked by gang members, clutching the recorder helplessly until she heard Haewon's voice behind her. Students she had convinced to protect her had arrived, ready to fight. The next day, Miss Lee successfully held the disciplinary meeting. Pan was expelled and arrested for killing Ms. Wu, and the vice principal who covered for him was punished. Everything was settled. Miss Lee fulfilled Ms. Wu's wish by turning the school into a proper place. Hyan Wu was released early for turning his life around and reconciled with his sister. But the study group's story wasn't over. Their final exams were coming, and new challenges awaited. Please subscribe to the channel to support us. Goodbye, and see you again in the next video.